Cyberpunk 2077 is an incredible game. 200 hours in with multiple playthroughs under my belt, and I still never get tired of Night City. Night City is my favorite place in any game ever. The architecture, the neon, and most importantly, the characters that we meet throughout our time in Night City. And boy, are there a lot of characters. You got Wick, Misty, Panam, Judy, Evelyn, Jackie, Mama Wells, Dex, Mr. Cassidy's Hands, and so many more. And like any good cyberpunk story, most of these characters don't get a happy ending.
Here, for folks like us, wrong city, wrong people.
Major character deaths is a staple of any cyberpunk media. The themes of loss and regret are present in almost all the characters we come across. However, even though a staple, these character deaths are not created equal. Some are more emotionally effective than others, and some of these fuckers you're just happy to see die. So I thought, why not talk about these deaths and rank them? I have here a bunch of the cyberpunk characters, and what I will do is talk about each one of the base game's major character deaths, talk about the character as a whole and what they represent in the story to us and we, what I think works or doesn't work, and the overall emotional impact that their death has on the player. And then rank them on this meticulously detailed tier list template that someone else made that I just yoinked. But enough waffling around, let's begin with everybody's favorite Valentino boy.
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty picky about who I let touch my balls.
I will be using Jackie as sort of a baseline of an acceptable character death. If you're one of the very few people that saw my last video, I talked briefly about why I thought Jackie's death wasn't that emotionally effective. The desire to talk about that more was the entire inspiration for this video, so I want to take the chance to expand on my reasoning. Jackie Wells is a lovely character. He is literally one of the major threads that bound all of the origins together. With as many choices and consequences Cyberpunk has, Jackie is eternally tied to we in life as well as death. His character is poised in opposition to Night City's apathy. He is energetic, talky, and full of life the entire time we know him. How many other characters are like that? Panam's eternally pissed off, Judy is depressed and then leaves a female V and can't romance her, Misty is sad, and Victor is just a chill guy. Jackie is quite literally one of a kind. So I totally understand why so much of the player base feels so strongly when Jackie dies. Now, you might be thinking that if I feel this way about Jackie, why do I not really care when he dies? The crux of my reasoning is that we just don't spend enough time with him. The entirety of Act 1 is at max maybe 3 to 4 hours on your first time going through it. And while Jackie is prominent, he isn't there all the time. The majority of V and Jackie's friendship takes place over the "Hello there, Night City" montage right after the prologue, where we see V and Jackie going on all sorts of adventures, which is something we cannot experience as players. I don't know about you, but for me to grow attached to a character, enough to be saddened by their death, I have to be able to spend time with them. And I just don't get that with Jackie. But it gets worse. Like, we and Jackie are criminals. And I'm not even talking about the morality of things here, because if we go by that, V is a fucking reprehensible cyber psycho that zeroes half a dozen people before breakfast. And so I'm not really concerned with that. What I'm saying is that if we take a step back to understand the logistics of Night City, who is the top dog? The corpse. As much as I fucking despise these corpo bootlicking rats, in the context of the world of NC, they are the law. So from their perspective, we and Jackie are just some fuck-ass mercs trying to steal the company's IP. Which also, by the way, doesn't really matter to Arasaka, because after Saburo dies and we and Jackie escape, Arasaka doesn't even send anyone to recover the relic. Like, what the fuck? This tech that they don't care about can literally bring people back to life. As it does with we, it can make people literally fucking immortal, and Arasaka doesn't care. And it's not like we is exactly secretive about the fact that he has a top secret hyper advanced immortality tech in his head. He tells it to basically anyone, including 2 NUSA agents. The point being that being in Jackie's line of work isn't exactly free of, let's say, occupational hazards. So I can't really feel bad for him. Like, he wanted to become a legend of the afterlife, and he did. Even Jackie knew that you can only become a legend in the afterlife. I can understand why people really like him and get emotional for his death. But for me, he's a really good baseline for what to expect from a good emotional death, even though I personally don't feel that much for him. Okay, let's see. Moving on to...
He called you the fat-ass black Jesus of the afterlife.
Dex has a pretty okay death. It's not great, mostly because Dex killed V, and it would have been so satisfying to maybe hunt his ass down and killing him, but we don't get to do that, and Takemura gets to him, and that's fine. So while I really enjoy seeing him get domed, I did want it to be me, and that would reduce his overall ranking. As a character, I think Dex is pretty good, and more importantly, he's a great introduction to Night City as a whole. The backstabbing, apathetic, and oppressive nature of Night City is embodied in Dex to give us a taste of what's to come ahead in our story. Dex pretends to be a friend, sings you empty promises of the big leagues, but we both know how that story ends. The fact that I can even say this much about a character that is barely in the game says a lot about how effective Dex was. His death is slightly below Jackie, but still pretty good, I would say.
You want nice, supportive? Call a damn helpline.
I have been working on the script on and off for about a week. And up until today, I had forgotten that T-Bug existed. Similar to Jackie, she's introduced during Act 1 and is killed about halfway through the heist mission. And basically never mentioned again. Yeah, her death really doesn't matter. Her character really doesn't matter, which is weird because during one of the E3 trailers, you can see T-Bug being much closer to Dex, and she even reacts to V going aggro on him. But upon release, that was nowhere to be seen. All cut for one reason or another. And I get it, she's barely in Act 1 and isn't really important to the story, so I'm glad that they let her appearance be concise instead of dragging it out. She goes straight in the D tier.
Do you want to spend the rest of your days blasting scavs or become a legend overnight?
Evelyn Parker's death was my oh shit moment. The moment where I actually in real life said holy shit and just sat there teary-eyed for the next 10 minutes. This poor woman goes through so much horrific shit by the time we're able to rescue her that in a world where people can remotely change your memories, make you forget extremely meaningful experiences and loved ones, she decides to end her own life because that would be a better option than to live trapped in your own mind. Evelyn, like Jackie and V and every other person in Night City, wanted more from their life. She thought she was someone more important than she was. She thought she could play everybody. Arasaka, the VDBs, Netwatch. I mean, holy shit. The only person in Night City capable of anything even remotely close to that is we. And that's only because he is us. Everything that happens to Evelyn serves as a grim reminder of the horrors of Night City to the player. So many games that get released nowadays want to show that they tackle heavy themes of death and grief and regret, but are so fucking scared to actually say anything and depict the horrors of real life. This moment showed me that this game had teeth. That when it said Night City is the most dangerous place on earth, CDPR was not scared to back that up. I think Evelyn's death was perfect. The setup, the execution, and the consequences. Evelyn and Judy had a very strong bond. And her death is the entire reason Judy's questline even kicks off. Especially in the suicide ending for V, you can hear the pain she's feeling after two of her closest friends decided to take their own life. The weight she must feel for being utterly helpless to both herself and her friends. That scene right after Evelyn's death when we're sharing a smoke with Judy on the rooftop is one of my favorite scenes in the entire game. Night City looked beautiful from up there. The bright neon lights ever present even as your own world plunges into darkness. Now, I will be the first one to admit that this is the one character I am not even trying to be objective on. This is 100% a personal pick, mainly because I've had friends and loved ones who've gone through something like this. They're all good now though, don't worry, touch wood. So I feel that I'm a little predisposed to reacting strongly to her death. And so for me, she has a top tier death, only rivaled by the Phantom Liberty characters.
Family, 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 family.
Saul is a pretty cool character. He has solid motivations for his actions in order to take care of the Outor family. I actually agree with him when he wants to work with Biotechnica to make sure that his people don't starve. He thinks it is essential to survive, and I can't fault that regardless of how much of a simp I am for Pan Am. In fact, I think she is the person most affected by his death, which is kind of weird since he was considered a father figure to the entire camp, and we only ever see Pan Am's reaction to his death and nobody else's. I do give him points for being off by the one and only Adam Smasher, so that is saying something. The best part about Saul dying is that Smasher kills him and not Pan Am. I shit you not, during my first playthrough, I chose to go with Pan Am and the gang, and I swear when Adam Smasher busted the metal door, I actually screamed, "No, not Pan Am!" and you cannot imagine my relief when Panam didn't get her head squished. So overall, Saul is a pretty good character, but his death doesn't really have any consequences, emotional or otherwise. So I have to go with a low C tier for him. Sorry to the two of you who care about Saul.
His idea of a romantic night out was blowing up Arasaka HQ.
The Queen of the Afterlife, the Golden Gilf. Rogue is a tricky one to rank because, well, for one, her death is kind of fucking cool. She gives a big fuck you to Adam Smasher after getting a hole punch through her, but she is also very detached from V as a whole. She mostly does everything for Johnny. Hell, we aren't even controlling V during that Rogue ending. And I'm not saying that I have a problem with this because I think it's cool that Johnny takes over and relives his memory of 2023, which is oddly cute. I do wish that we got to interact with the Rogue like we do with Mr. Hands in the DLC. I think she should have also been a proper fixer that gave V contracts throughout the game. I mean, she is the Queen of the Afterlife. Does she ever really give us a gig or a job? The first time we meet her, she tells us to follow Panam and asks money for intel. The only job she plans is the ending raid of Arasaka, and we aren't even V while doing that. So the point being, while a much better and fleshed out character than Saul, I still feel she could have been fleshed out more to match the role she was playing in the ending. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about Rogue's character as a whole. With that being said, I don't think I can justify putting her lower than A tier. A pretty good death for a pretty great character. And there you have it, done and dusted. If you enjoyed these ramblings and would like to see more, why don't you press all those shiny buttons down over there? Originally, I had planned for this to include the Phantom Liberty endings as well, but I didn't realize how much footage I would have to record for this tier list. And for the Phantom Liberty characters, I would have to record basically the entire DLC to get footage for Alex, Reed, Song, and all their endings. Because the circumstances of their deaths changed dramatically from ending to ending. But that will take a while. And so the next part won't be coming out for a little while. For the next few videos, I plan to release one vid every 2 weeks on other topics ranging from Silksong to KCD2. If there is a game that you would like for me to cover, please let me know, as well as any feedback you may have down in the comments. I'm still new to this and figuring it out all on the go. Anywho, thank you for watching.